Hello, fabulous fifth grade families. This is going to be our presentation this year for the Parent Cispus Information Night. As a reminder, Cispus will be March 13th through 15th this year in Randall, Washington. First of all, I want to thank Oli Linemaker for making our Cispus shirts this year. They will be bright blue and have our school name and logo on them, as you can see in the pictures below. Not only will we be the most style in school, but we'll also be able to quickly identify our students, which is a really important safety thing, especially when we're out in the wilderness. So where is Camp Cispus? As I said before, it'll be in Randall, Washington, and the route we take is about 2 hours and 4 minutes. If your student gets car sick, we suggest that you do a prescription of Dramamine and give it to your student prior to them traveling. If your child does take Dramamine, they will need to have a doctor's note and one of the med forms filled out in order for us to administer it on the way home. We will not be taking bathroom breaks along the way, so we encourage the students to all go before we leave. So who operates Camp Cispus? The Association of Washington School Principals began the outdoor education program back in 1981 at the Cispus Learning Center. Cispus serves more than 16,000 students and adults each year and is a premier outdoor education center in Western Washington. Students are given their cabin assignments as we get on the bus. This year, as we only have one fifth grade class, we will have all of the students together and they will be all in one cabin, girls on one side and then boys on another. They will not be able to access either side, but we won't have to take on more than one cabin this year. They will get a badge. This will be kind of their keepsake. It'll have their name, their school, and their cabin assignment. And then they've been working really hard over the last couple of weeks to design their badges. And then I will be clear coding and word printing them as well. They'll also get a journal to record all of their assignments and their adventures along the way. So who chaperones camp? The Olympia School District administrators this year will be Garfield and McKinney. Their principals will both be joining us. This is Brendan Shertock and Michael Havens. They will be up there with us, as well as myself. And then we have a student teacher named Mr. Alex joining us as well this year. We will also have other fifth grade teachers and the Avante High School counselor director. Her name is Karen and she's fabulous. We will also have other OSD staff and the Cispus staff on site. A really important thing to note is the luggage truck will be arriving the day before we leave for Cispus. This will be on March 12th at 8:30. Students will need to be dropped off with their luggage before the box truck arrives because their luggage will be going up ahead of us. They cannot take their luggage on the bus. So if your student rides the bus, you will need to be able to provide transportation or find somebody that they can carpool with in order to get there on time. On the bus ride to Cispus, students will be able to enjoy a conversation with one another, check landmarks along the route, and sometimes read. As I said before, our gear travels in a truck and arrives ahead of us, so we'll only carry our backpacks with us that day. So expectations at camp, the same rules and expectations we have in OSD, and then the OSD Rights and Responsibilities Handbook that was provided at the beginning of the school year. It's just basically showing respect for all students, teachers, and counselors, and the Cispus staff at all times, showing responsibilities, so listening, following directions to the information throughout the day, showing respect towards the facilities and natural environment, and making safe choices at all times. So packing for camp, I'll be sending home a packing list with your student. We've modified the packing list a little bit because OSD says that 3 pairs of socks is enough. I personally think the time of year that we're going, 3 is not enough, and I would pack more with your student just in case their shoes get wet, their socks get wet. We don't want them to have wet feet because that can cause a lot of problems. So definitely extra socks. Make sure they have a pillow and a fitted sheet. It says 2 changes of clothes. I suggest packing an extra one, again, for the same reason. If they get wet, because we will be outside the majority of the day, they want something dry that they can change into. Shampoo and conditioner, body wash, that sort of stuff, hat and gloves. And then I do suggest hot hands if you're able to provide those, just because it gets really cold out there. If you need assistance with packing supplies, please do not hesitate to let us know. We are completely able to provide anything and everything you might need. And you can click the link where it says here in the blue box and fill out a form that will go directly to our Madison liaison who will be helping us shop this year. So we have trained high school counselors from Avanti High School this year. They will be assigned to the cabins and groups of fifth graders. They greet the campers, help them grab their gear and organize settling into the cabins. They make sure everyone gets lunch, and they bring the campers to the first whole camp meeting. Throughout the 3 days, they will be a huge role in the success at camp. Karen at Avanti does an absolutely wonderful job training these counselors and getting them ready to facilitate and help along the way during this time. After students have their gear and they've settled in their cabins and they have eaten lunch, we gather everyone together for an introduction to the whole staff. This will be principals, teachers, our nurse on site, and our counselors. This is kind of what it looks like at camp. This is where we all meet and all the kids get together. In the middle, you see Mr. Shertalk. He will be one of our principals on site this year. He is from Garfield. These are the cabins that your students will be staying in. All the fifth grade girls from Madison share one cabin, and all the fifth grade boys will share a different one, and you'll see in the next slide or the next few slides what that'll look like. There's room for 8 to 10 fifth graders and 2 counselors in each section. We will most likely be taking up 2 sections of each cabin. I will sleep in a room attached to the girls' cabin, and Mr. Alex will sleep in a room attached to the boys' cabin. It is important that students bring a sheet or a blanket to cover their mattress, as well as a sleeping bag or blanket to sleep in. They are welcome to bring a pillow or a stuffed animal. However, students need to be able to carry all of their own gear. So like I was saying before, as you guys can see, the side that has the red heart, this will be where I'm sleeping, and that will be the girls' side. That big black line that divides the two, that will split the cabin between the girls' side and the boys' side. They will not have access to each other. There will be restrooms and private showering areas for the girls to shower and do business in, and same with the boys as well. So who can help my child if they get homesick? This is something that we face every year, but it is something that usually passes pretty quickly because the kids are so busy having fun. So this can be this school district nurse, the administrators, classroom teachers, and then the high school student leaders are also trained on how to handle this. We spend many hours each day walking along the trails. Some are muddy, others are rocky, and a few are really steep. The best shoes, in all honesty, are tennis shoes. It works well if students bring 2 pairs just in case one pair gets wet. But I do ask that you don't bring any new shoes, as that can cause blisters, especially if they're not worn in. I know students are going to want to have new hiking boots and all of that, but that is absolutely unnecessary. I just bring regular tennis shoes, but I do, like I said, suggest bringing an extra pair just because we will be outside all day. And like I said before, if their shoes and feet get wet, they want something to change into that it will be dry. And again, if you need any help with this, don't hesitate to reach out to me or fill out that form in the previous slide. We've spent several months studying various elements of the world around us. They'll get to see firsthand all the amazing things they've been learning about. This is outdoor school, and they will have assignments to complete, but these will all be hands-on and interactive out in the field. As you can see, these are some of the various things that we do. There's shelter building. In the jar, we're looking at the organisms in the area. This is a catch and release thing, so they just get to observe and then put them back into their natural environment. This is Tower Rock. It's one of the monuments that students love to see. There's some amazing sights out here. Students are allowed to bring disposable cameras or an expensive camera with your permission, but we do ask that students do not bring cell phones or any other electronic devices, as they are not permitted and will be confiscated. Along each trail, students are supported by teachers and counselors. We review trail and general safety rules routinely while we're out here. They must carry their own backpack with a water bottle, their journal, pencils, snacks, and their lunch. They are solely responsible for carrying all of their belongings. In terms of water bottle, we ask that they have at least 2 water bottles so that they can be drinking out of one and have one as a backup just in case. We will provide snacks for them throughout the day, and then their lunch is provided by Cispus. This is just some pictures of the various things we'll be doing while we're out there. We have small groups that'll gather and discuss findings, take notes, and share information. The high school counselors will help facilitate these conversations as well. One of the things we'll be studying out there is geology and entomology of the river and the creek. So we'll be on the edge of the creek beds looking at bugs and animals and tracks. We'll also be looking at the geology, so the rocks and the sediments. Students will be crossing in shallow areas and will be on the edge of the water. However, we will not be swimming, wading, or throwing rocks in the water. While we're at Cispus, students may have the opportunity to hike to this amazing waterfall. This will depend on weather and trail conditions. The trail takes them right behind the falls, which is awesome. This hike can be really strenuous, so we start training early. Students need at least one water bottle to take to camp. The last few years, we've unfortunately not been able to go because the trail has been too icy and snowed out. So I do take them up as far as we can go. And there's a lot of mini waterfalls along the way and some beautiful, amazing sights that we get to see. Just as a reminder, Cispus is open to the general public. So if your student does not get the opportunity to go hike this and you want to go on a family adventure, this is a nice day trip where you can go hike to this waterfall and see it with your entire family. During the 3 days, students will be incredibly busy. We do stop and rest often, and we'll snack and hydrate throughout the day. But as you can see in this picture, campers do need to dress in layers as conditions in the mountains change often. So I suggest packing extra layers just in case they get cold. During our instructional block, students will learn how to build a shelter, start a fire, and even get to make s'mores. These skills are helpful to learn. It's also a great opportunity for team building. We'll be learning a lot of various different things about habitats and the environments as well. And we have some really awesome new lesson plans we'll be going out with this year too. After a busy day of hiking and exploring, students will get to relax back at camp. They can participate in field games, crafting, basketball, or just relax and spend time with each other. We gather together for each meal in the dining hall for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Students are expected to know how to set the table, use manners, and share a meal that is served family style. Students will also be responsible for helping take care of camp while we are there. And parents, don't worry, I will get pictures of your children doing chores. As you can see, here are some of our previous fifth graders looking especially excited as they're helping with the dinner service. Cabin groups share the cleanup and setup duties. They will help set up the tables, take them down, sweep, mop, and do the dishes. Practicing at home is always appreciated, but you would be surprised at how willing they are to help out while we're at camp. Each day ends with all the campers, teachers, and counselors gathering around the campfire. We perform skits, sing songs, and eat apples before heading off to bed. One little fun fact is apples are said to help you sleep. So as you can see, these are some of the different things we do. Depending upon weather, sometimes we'll have outdoor campfire, but we do have a space indoor where we can be as well if the weather permits. So many great friendships, wonderful memories, and lots of learning go back with us as we head home. This is an opportunity that these kids will never forget. It is the beginning of their transition to middle school and such a great way for them to remember their learning. As you can see, so many amazing smiles throughout these pictures and lots of fun stories come out of this adventure. So this is the Cispus layout. In the big area down below, you can see elderberry, birch, cedar, dogwood, alder, grandfern, false hemlock. These are student cabins. This is where all of us will be. And then you can see off to the left, we have the health room, the Cispus office, the different classrooms, the dining hall. There's a gym, a big field, and then we have a bunch of different rooms and the auditorium over on the far left top of the area. So the box truck and packing. The box truck will arrive early Tuesday morning, March 12th. Students will need to be dropped off with their luggage this day as they cannot take it on the bus. They are able to bring a duffel bag or a small suitcase and will need a backpack for the hikes. If their sleeping bag will not fit, it can go in a labeled garbage bag. As you can see on the left, they're just going for 3 days. They do not need ginormous luggage. So think airport carry-on luggage. That's kind of the size we're looking for. Definitely no IKEA stacks of luggage. On the right, you can see some various sizes that are a little bit more appropriate. Again, if you need help with getting a duffel bag or luggage, we have those as well. We can provide any of that to you. We will be labeling the bags the morning of the 12th before those get loaded on the box truck. But if you would like to label your students' belongings ahead of time, that's greatly appreciated too. So what do you need to know? It costs $150 per student, but we have payment plans and waivers available. As of right now, I think we have like 99% of families covered and taken care of. If you have questions about that, please do not hesitate to ask me. Any medication, even over-the-counter meds like Dramamine, Tylenol, anything like that, needs to be authorized and attached to the forms and given to the nurse 2 weeks prior to Cispus. This authorization does need to be done by a doctor, but oftentimes if you just take it to your primary care provider, they can get it filled out pretty quickly. This is pretty standard in Olympia, so they kind of know the deal. I will hopefully have medical forms to your child by this Thursday. I'll just give a few to each kid unless you let me know how many you need ahead of time. I have let them know if we have any food allergies or any vegetarians, but if you want to just double check with me, you can shoot me an email and let me know if you have any special requirements for your child while they're there. Packing form will be going home with your student as well. Like I said, I've modified that to just kind of show some of the things that I think are important, especially extra socks. If you have not finished your paperwork, all paperwork needs to be turned in 3 weeks prior to Camp Cispus, which does put at the end of February. And as a reminder, students are not to bring any cellular or gaming devices to Camp Cispus. They will be taken away, but they are allowed to bring books and a deck of cards if they want to play that in the evening or read. Again, box truck day. Students and their gear need to be at school by 8:30 on March 12th. This is the day before we leave for camp. They cannot ride the bus with their gear, so they will need to be dropped off or carpooled with another family. Students will need to be dropped off at school no later than 8:30 on March 13th. This is the day that we do leave. Buses will be leaving at 9:30, so students can ride the bus this day. On the day that we come back, students will need to be picked up between 2 and 2:15 on Friday, March 15th. They will need to be picked up as they cannot ride the bus home with their gear. If you want to send your student mail, we do give them mail during dinner on Wednesday and Thursday evening. Teachers at Madison do ensure that all students receive a postcard each night. However, if you want to send your child mail ahead of time, you can. The address is Camp Cispus, Madison Elementary. You need to put your student's first and last name and then the address that is on this slide. You do need to mail this no later than Monday, March 11th in order for it to arrive on time. As you can see in the picture, one of my former students, Oscar, got a note from his cat, which he was pretty thrilled about. This year, I do need some help. I'm looking for some families that are wanting to give a little assistance. I'm hoping that we can get some snacks in. Cispus only provides breakfast, lunch, and dinner. When we're burning as many calories as we are and going as far as we are on these hikes, that's just not enough food for kids. So I'm asking for prepackaged snacks. Costco is a really great place. We're looking for granola bars, fruit snacks, crackers, chips, even Hi-Chew for when we're on the long hikes, different things like that. We do ask that you avoid nuts, as we do have a peanut and tree nut allergy this year. I'm also looking for a parent that's able to help me bag and label the snacks. I'm also looking, I know, weird request for you to save your toilet paper rolls this year, because we are going to be making some scopes to look at the tree canopies. Also looking for extra hot hands if there's any families that are willing to donate those. And then I also need help bagging and tagging on Tuesday, March 12th before we go on the box truck. So if you are looking for ways to help facilitate in any of this, don't hesitate to reach out and email me and I'll give you more details. So if you have any questions or concerns, I'm sorry I was unable to do this in person, but I'm available via email and you can stop in and see me once I'm back. Again, I'll be sending home packing lists and med supplies forms with your students later this week. But please, please, please do not hesitate to email me if you have any questions or need anything clarified. All right, fabulous fifth grade. Thank you for listening to my presentation. And again, don't hesitate to reach out.